it's time for your viewing pleasure, the online show that will change how you think about online shows. Welcome to the Great I.O. Get-Together! On tonight's show, fun and excitement like you won't believe. The thrills, the chills. Now join me in welcoming your hosts and mine, Richard and Tara!
Thank you so much, Pete. Welcome, everyone, to the Great I.O. Get-Together, number 7. Getting Schooled in Pictionary by Kraiger. My name is Richard. This is my co-host, Tara. How you doing, Tara?
Not too bad. I read my favorite New York Times headline of all time yesterday. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to read it. When an eel climbs a ramp to eat squid from a clamp, that's a moray. Like a moray eel.
I got it.
Did you? Do you want me to say it again?
I do not.
Apparently they have a second set of jaws like halfway down their throat that they use to catch the whatever and like suck it all the way into their mouth. Anyway, New York Times science writing. They're really up in their game.
Wow. Well, that's the kind of hard-hitting news people come to our show for.
Exactly.
Yeah. For anyone that hasn't joined us before and think we'll be talking about eels, these are...
We will be.
These gigs are recorded live, so we can take your questions about eels and other topics live on the show. Our live gigs are really also just an excuse for our Discord community. You can chat with your fellow IOs during the show anytime you want. If you're on there right now, you can go into the on-air area of Discord, so you can chat with us right now if you care to. You can find more details about all of that and all the options available at thegig.online. All of our regular shows, we've had some exceptions, have two halves. In the first half, we have a little bit of fun, loosely defined. And then in the second half, we get a little bit more serious, all with our guests or guests of the day. Top of today's gig is going to be Pictionary. That's going to be hosted by Tara. If you've never played Pictionary before, the idea is that one contestant gets a word or phrase, and then they need to draw it. And try to get the other people to guess what they're drawing. So our lucky guest for that today is going to be Dr. Kurt Kraiger, professor and chair of the Department of Management, University of Memphis, former SIOP president, winner of many, many distinguished awards, and co-founder of Jobsology. Did I say that right? I did. Yep. Wonderful. Welcome to the show, Kurt.
And you forgot to mention reigning Pictionary champ of Tennessee. So,
boy.
I'm super excited to be here. I'm big fans of the show and you guys both.
Oh, thank you.
High praise.
Yeah, we're gonna play our game for probably 20-30 minutes, then chat a little more seriously with Kurt. Most about his work in the areas of learning, mentoring, experiences, and ideas, personal and professional. Gonna run the gamut. So if we're all ready, I'm going to hand it over to Tara.
All right. So here's how this game's going to work. The two of you are the contestants. I guess you're also playing against each other and you're on each other's team, but don't worry about the details. That's not important. I have, previous to today's show, emailed each of you 5 clues, and you are going to take turns drawing those clues. While one person's drawing, the rest of us will be guessing. Granted, I did write the clues, so my guesses will be a little bit better than everyone else's. So, Pictionary rules, generally speaking, don't write anything on your Pictionary board that would be on a keyboard. So no numbers, no letters, no arrows, etc. Any questions?
I just want to throw out there that it seems like the deck is a little stacked in your favor for this game.
Yeah, now that you say it that way, maybe I shouldn't guess. All right, so I'll just be the neutral judge. I will render a winner at the end of the game. How does that sound?
You could throw out distractor guesses. That would be all right.
Ooh, okay. I will be both a spoiler and a judge. This sounds fun. I think this will be a lot of fun for me. I don't know how fun it will be for you, but that's really not important.
Like every show.
Yes, exactly. We should rename this show I Torture Everybody for My Own Amusement. I think that sounds great. All right. So I think based on a coin flip that I conducted earlier, Richard will be drawing first.
Wonderful.
And Kurt will be guessing. And I will, at some point, put you out of your misery if it goes on too long, just for your own warning. So take it away.
All right, I've got I think everybody can see me moving on your end. All of our viewers are only going to see me actually drawing, so that's going to be slightly different for them.
That's okay.
I haven't really reviewed this list, and I'm going to warn everyone, I'm left-handed and using a right-handed mouse, so this is not going to be pretty.
Wow.
Under
Sounds
any...
like some self-handicapping right there. There's none of that in a gig.
It is.
Yep.
That's 100% what this is. All
Also
right.
stalling, might I add.
All
Lots of stalling.
All right. I'm going to draw. Oh, this is already terrible.
You're talking a lot.
I sprained my wrist this morning, so that could be.
Oh, that's that.
So
Yeah,
this looks like a file cabinet.
See, I'm already very bad at this.
Yeah, I can see file cabinet. That's a reasonable guess.
And that could be a giraffe. It's more. I know what it's. So this is a piece of paper. Oh, it's a manuscript. So that's your title page, and words. And I'm going to guess manuscript.
No, it's not a manuscript.
I
I only know. Keep guessing.
I only know charades rules. I don't.
Dissertation.
Ah!
Oh my gosh!
Success.
Amazing. I can't believe that you guessed that.
I was gonna start drawing like a stick person grad student, and then I didn't know what to do.
So Tara, I have a question. Who gets the points, Richard or I?
Oh, gosh, I think you should get the points.
That's amazing. Well, so I would tank, but
yeah, wait.
I mean,
maybe we all win.
We all win. I would. Let's give the points to me.
That seems
because I guess I think because that's an adequate drawing, but I think my guessing was amazing. So
you know what? That's exactly the way we'll decide it. Whoever demonstrated superior skill gets the points.
If Richard guesses any of mine, given my drawing, he definitely deserves points.
All right. Well, let's see.
All right, we're going to 2 now, right?
Yep. So we will move to screen 2.
All right.
Oh, okay. I gotta.
Okay. High-tech situation.
I'll throw out. We'll also accept. Guesses from the chat if anybody wants to throw one out there.
Yes, especially if they're PG rated, please, folks. Okay, whenever you're ready, go for it.
All right, and then I'm gonna draw on my screen, and I gotta do it without knocking my laptop over the high tower that I created to get the good camera angle. So, but I'm ready.
All right, go for it. Oh, you have to pick pencil.
Pencil.
Oh, yeah. All right.
All right, we see it. It looks like a peach.
Person. I got person.
Oh, maybe person. Okay.
Man, camera, TV.
Woman, TV.
We got thinking, talking.
Sure.
Balloon attached. Oh.
Cloudy day, lightning strike, raining.
Could be dialogue, conversations, arguments, talking. L. Oh no. A square? Talking about squares.
As one does.
Oh, I can't do that.
No, you can't.
Ignore that thing I'm not allowed to do.
A square is fine. I don't see any rule violations so far. It's like 2 people talking about squares, Richard. What's so confusing about that?
Is this 3 words with 2 people talking about squares? Is that how I interpret 3 words? Thought bubble.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint, and then I'm about to cut this off. This is IO-themed Pictionary.
Okay.
So think of an IO concept that might have to do with 2 people discussing or thinking perhaps about a thing.
Thinking about
laughing.
But 3 words?
So, Kurt, you could also draw something that is only one of the words. Like if you wanted to pick a word and then put it, like if you wanted to draw the
I
second
was
word.
trying to think of something that rhymed with any of the words.
It's
came
pretty
up
tough.
for it.
I've got like, there's nothing. I don't know what 3 words. There's like.
Okay, I'll give you another hint.
There's boxes. There's like theorizing, modeling.
To do with teamwork. Teamwork. I know you've never studied or thought about teamwork before, so this will be a new thing for you. What's a thing that teams need?
Synergy.
No, not synergy. That is the wrong guess. And as you know, it's on the list of prohibited words. That's your first violation. All right. What's a thing that teams need to coordinate to do their work? That is 3 words.
There's 3 words. There's processes. There's
All right, I'm cutting this off.
Shared middle model.
Oh, you did.
Bam.
So apparently the threat of me cutting this off is what helped you find that last bit of inspiration. Okay, great. Shared mental model.
I'm amazed that worked.
All right. I'm amazed as well.
Oh, I have to.
Moving on to board 3.
Board 3. All right, where am I?
Oh gosh. All right.
Oh, okay.
You had these clues for many hours before the show. You could have easily prepped better. Okay, go for it whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm going.
Moray eel.
First one of these is gonna be bad. Okay.
Tic-tac-toe, puzzle, Hollywood Squares, PSYOP conference, New Orleans.
Looks like a mountain range.
Mouse.
It's like,
what the hell is that? That's an angry guy. It's an angry man losing a tic-tac-toe. So, man puzzle, angry cross. Tick. Facial tick.
Still IO themed.
What would be? It's not personnel selection.
Richard, keep drawing. Draw other things.
Other.
Oh.
God. Okay. Again,
audience.
The right-handed is very bad.
Those are people watching game show.
You said one of the words. I'll allow it. Game is one of the words.
Game.
Game. Game.
So that's something serious. Oh, serious game.
Ah!
Incredible. So, what is a serious game? Besides Pictionary. Pictionary is a deadly serious game. But besides that, like, what is that?
Yeah, I wrote about it in the article that we'll be talking in the second half, so I'd really be curious on what Richard thinks about it, because I'm not sure I got it right.
Oh, great. I mean, it's it's a matter of some disagreement. A lot of people in the games community would say that all games are serious games. But,
because they are serious people with no senses of humor. Is that why?
Yeah. Well, to imply that, like, like GTA 5 made like $1.5 billion, so it seems pretty serious. Like, that's the argument. But yeah, the way it's used in the literature would be using a game for any purpose other than entertainment. That's the most basic version. But then, and we see the in training literature, it has a little bit more specific meaning.
Well, so is IO-themed Pictionary a serious game? Because it is clearly for entertainment purposes.
It's not exactly for entertainment purposes, because we're still using it as part of an educational thing. So arguably, it could be part of it.
And people may not find this entertaining either. So
that's
one
a darn good point.
Before we leave this, so what about a repurposed game? So someone invents like Halo. Trying to think of the games my son used, or a shooter game or something like that. And then that it's clearly for entertainment, but then the military says we're going to use this solely to get people practice hunting and killing. Is that,
Mm.
or is that just a gray area that we don't have to?
Yeah,
dive
I mean,
into?
yeah, I mean, so like, so I've tried to write on the issue. This doesn't need to be about me, but I tried to write on the issue of technologies, not being prototypical. The technologies are not constructs. So it's not like a serious game exists and we're looking at examples of serious, like instantiations of serious games. It's just a convenient bucket by which to refer to these ideas. So frankly, I don't know if it matters all that much what actually falls within the heading or not. I think I would call that a serious game, though, personally.
Right.
So in conclusion, games don't matter. Got it.
Thanks.
Okay. I mean, that's what I heard you say. All right, Kurt, are you ready to draw again?
I am.
We're going to 4?
Okay, whenever you are ready. We're on board 4.
Board 4.
Sorry, I forgot the pencil thing.
All right. Poster presentation. Job talk?
Looks like capture the flag.
That looks like a screen to me.
Oh.
Oh God, a screen by a lake.
This is a good drawing. That's a potato. That's obviously a potato.
Potato. That's. It still seems like a talk or a presentation or a job talk, but that doesn't help. I need more than hand motions.
Oh, wait, I know. This is supposed to be an ear.
Sounds like.
Right.
Right.
So you're
It
supposed to say sounds like.
Oh, this is good. You undersold your Pictionary abilities, Kurt.
Sounds like rain.
Yeah, what sounds like raining?
And looks like this. Can I get a new player?
Okay, it starts with a T.
Training.
Okay.
Training is such a broader concept than giving a lecture.
But we're not done with the clue yet, though. Although I feel like I have like a mercy end to this round.
Oh, I didn't see a word thing.
Oh yeah, it's still going.
Oh, okay. Why so many 3s?
Can't make it too easy.
So okay.
So he was in training, and now he's not.
You're gonna have to coach him.
So he was in training.
I run out of ideas.
He's holding a hammer, and now he's leaving the training with the hammer.
And going somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Or it's not raining.
The hammer without the rain is transfer of training?
Oh.
Training transfer?
Yes, thank goodness.
Okay.
Yes. Transfer training. I thought that was an easy clue.
How is the hammer? Why is there a guy with a hammer?
Well, it could have been it was easier to do that than like I don't know, a nurse with a syringe or something like that.
Oh, I see.
Right.
I was trying to if you had gotten, this is what I was going for. If you had gotten this training in like under 3 minutes, I was going to try to show that one guy walks through the rainstorm and then start doing what he was trained to do. That's all I got. I think it's not. I'm going to take a hit on Richard. I think your guessing was phenomenal, and it was just like when I teach, back when we used to have whiteboards, I would say let me write the definition or something on the board, and I would write something, and the whole class would go, "We can't even read your handwriting, let alone don't even try a picture." So
I think I would have gotten it with the syringe and the nurse. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, right, because that would be a dead giveaway, of course. Okay, you are up again for drawing, Richard.
Oh.
And it's still a tragedy that you have to draw with your right hand.
Do we have to? All right. Oh.
I feel like maybe you should skip that one. Just go ahead and.
Should we?
No, try it.
Oh.
But I'm going to cut it off after 60 seconds.
Oh God! All right.
All right, go for it.
2 words.
Here, this is.
I have a shared mental model that Richard likes to begin with a number of words. So
Yeah.
That's great observation.
Here.
And
hat.
That's a hat.
Yeah, it's a reference to the thing we just talked about.
Oh, it's a nurse with a syringe.
It is. Yeah, I didn't draw the syringe though.
Doctor.
There we go. Syringe.
Oh, no.
Right.
Oh my God. Looks like very violent.
I don't know what this is anymore. Wait, I'm deleting this. This is inappropriate for this context. All right, just pretend that's a syringe.
Wow.
Okay,
Right.
it's a syringe.
Oh God. You've done this on purpose to me, I know for a fact.
Syringe container.
No, like, there's nothing that rhymes.
No, there's really nothing that rhymes with this clue.
There's really esoteric.
Is syringe the first word?
No, there's nothing to do with syringes. I'm not really sure where he was going with that.
No.
All right.
All right,
It's not.
15 more seconds.
Okay,
Right.
This is gonna be a very esoteric clue.
So
Oh, that's better. That's a better
that's
angle
a
here.
network. That's a network.
It's
It's
oh
a
God.
social network.
This is why I need to be able to use my left hand, right?
Oh, no, there's arrows pointing. It's a gang. They're beating up
Yeah.
that right-hand circle.
Yes,
It's a
it's a
group.
nurse gang. Syringes are the weapon of choice.
Oh God.
Yeah.
There's like another step over here,
right.
I guess. It's not gonna
All
help.
right,
It doesn't even matter.
You're done.
Oh,
No.
I'm cutting this off. You're done.
oh, that's a model.
Yes!
It's
It
not
is
a
a model.
group. It's a model.
It is. It's a specific model. A well-known model that has those parts.
Does it have those parts?
I mean, maybe not this part.
Job
This part's a little more
character-
esoteric, but that part does.
The,
could al-
the
Wait.
Landers and Reddick learning control model.
Nope. Way more well-known than that.
All right, last guess. Last guess.
I said job characteristics.
You said
vertical
job.
bias.
That's
Job.
half of it. Job is
came
half of
in,
it.
Job. Let's pretend
I
this
don't
is
know
the
any
word.
job theories.
Job. Job.
Oh,
There we go.
jab. I bet you that was jab.
No, it's job. Yeah, it's still job. It's definitely
Job.
job.
Oh,
Job.
jab like a syringe. I get it.
Job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nurse with a syringe is the job. Why would
Yeah, totally.
it was referencing
All right, we're done. It's job performance.
determinants of job performance.
That's a theory.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're drawing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Declarative,
It's
procedural,
that
motivational inputs.
Minnesota. You
Yeah.
could have drawn the state of Minnesota and then like zoomed into where the cities is
That's
as
true.
context.
See, my first thought was the Campbell 8-component model, and I was like, I don't know how to draw that. So then I went to this.
Yeah.
The things you have to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, Kurt, I think you can do this one. I think this is gonna be a fun one.
The third one that you gave me?
Yep. Jump right in.
These are
All
clear.
right. I think everyone listening is going to get it right away, and Rich is going to struggle with it.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
good.
We've already established that we need to help him, but that's okay.
All right. So,
Yeah, I'm not good with pictures or words. Often numbers. Just don't.
Oh boy.
Three. Why is everything 3 words? You've definitely done this on purpose.
It'll be okay. I think you'll get it.
ignore that little.
Mm.
Ignore the first diagonal thing to the left of this.
That's
Ignore
not
that.
right.
That's not supposed to be there.
Oh, I was gonna say this is the couch from therapy. Like a
Yes.
Freudian
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's the
Oh.
couch.
Oh. Psychotherapy.
Oh, this is an amazing drawing.
The is given Rorschach test.
That's very close. What else is like that?
Is like a Rorschach test?
Yes.
That
That has 3 words.
has 3 words.
Or let me say,
there's no way this will help me. I'm just gonna warn you now.
It might.
Sounds like fish.
Or sounds like this is where it sounds like
Sounds like a fish.
It looks like sounds like spider.
Is this a
Sounds
moray
like-
eel?
Sounds like
I
cat with whiskers on one side of its face.
yeah.
Oh, cat. It sounds like a cat.
Oh, okay, not half a cat.
Oh no,
I get it.
sorry.
So none of the words sounds like cat, but
Yeah.
but it's a 3-word acronym that sounds like cat. And it's like a Rorschach test.
Oh God.
Yeah. I heard you about to say it. Do it.
It's the TAT. Thematic something.
Amazing.
Yeah, there we go.
I was trying to come up with a word that rhymes with a perception, and I couldn't do it.
Well, Kurt, do you want to explain why I put that clue in there?
Yeah, so my master's thesis was a reliability study of the TAT. And the reason that's important, or was important at the time, is the best predictor of managerial performance was scores on need for achievement, need for power on TAT tests. They had validity coefficients like uncorrected in the 60s. But the problem with the TAT is it's unreliable. If you correlate scores from time 1 to time 2, you get correlations of 0. So it's not reliable, but it predicts managerial performance. So we had the idea that in part of the instructions for the TAT is we tell people to be creative. Look at the pictures, tell us a creative story. Test. They're trying to be creative, and so they're writing something different than they last. So my theme is pulling this code down, so I'll end. We put people in 2 groups. One, we gave the traditional be creative. One is we just removed that one probe, and we got reliability test retest in the 50s or 60s. So I think my first publication was what was it called? Exploring. Yeah, this was fun. The title was Exploring Fantasies of TAT Reliability, because back in the day these were known as a fantasy assessment. So.
Nice. Well, I have to compliment you on your journal article titles. I mean, going through your CV to come up with clues today, there was a lot of material. It was very fun. All right. Well, do we have enough energy for one more? What do you think?
Yeah, one more at most. We're running a little long.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to have Kurt draw his last clue right now. Does that sound okay?
All right. Which one do you want me to do?
The 5th one.
Which one do you want me to do?
Do your last
one.
And
we're going into 7.
Yeah, so we'll do in box 7. All right, Richard, this is going to be a lot easier than the other ones. I wanted to end on a high note so you don't feel too badly about your horrible guessing skills.
This is going to be easier. You saw what my cat looked like.
Well, let's just see how it goes. At least it's not 3 words. All right, so take it away.
I feel like this is also a setup, I'm pretty sure.
All right, I got to click out of the... Click on the pencil.
There we go. Night.
That's a flag, obviously. This is about the United States of America.
No. Just, I'm trying to separate. Let me do this.
There's two things.
Separate my board space into 2.
That makes sense. Oh gosh.
And this would be, Richard, what is...
Are they playing badminton?
I'm trying to get a guess of the thing that I'm drawing over and over again. Is Richard still on the call?
Stars.
It's not a trick question.
Right? Star. There's many stars. Star performer. Star. Okay. I got star.
Yeah.
Okay, I will tell you this is not IO related, Richard.
Oh.
So.
Well, that. Now I can't even narrow it down.
Nope.
Stars and Stripes. Stars. Starry Night. Harry Star. Star of Snowy Stars and Snow.
That's not gonna work. Okay, new one. I'm just gonna go for it. All right.
All right, we're going down to number 8.
This is gonna be really bad.
Snowman.
Oh.
Yoda.
Yes.
Ah!
Oh, good Lord.
What?
I was trying to go for Star Wars, and this was supposed to be, I think, Carrie, you might have guessed. The middle thing was like at the beginning of the movie, the script kind of rolls up into it in a galaxy far, far away. It just made you think Harry Star, which is not what I was going for.
I definitely saw where you were going with it.
You could have just gone straight to Yoda. It would have been fine.
Yeah, in hindsight.
Well, what fun would that be? Well, in case you're wondering why I chose Yoda for the final clue, it's because Yoda is one of history's most famous mentors, as you know. And so we're going to spend the second half of the show today talking about mentors. But first, let's take a 5-minute break. Oh, I suppose I need to announce a winner. Oh. And I think unequivocally, Kurt won this game. Like, I mean,
sounds right.
No question in my mind. So well done, Pictionary champion.
Richard, I always rise to the level of competition, so I couldn't have done it without you.
Amazing. All right, well, let's take a break there, and we'll see you in 5 minutes.
All right.
We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Yeah, we're back. Now,
oh, look at that.
Take it away.
Well, during the break, we were having a rousing debate about whether tic-tac-toe is a game. And I think we settled on yes, it's a game. And so for more hard-hitting questions like that, stay tuned for our interview. All right, so Kurt, you did really phenomenally well at Pictionary. And now we're gonna have a serious conversation, unfortunately. So we were really excited to have you on the show because you are just our hero, frankly, but also we wanted to hear about what you've been up to lately. And one of the things that you've done quite recently is write an annual review article about learning. So I was hoping that you could start off by just telling us about that article. What are some of the highlights?
Sure. So I don't know the full title. You've looked at my CV more recently than I have, but the title presents, and this is the science of workplace. And so the way we came up with that title, and just really big picture, I co-wrote this with Kevin Ford. It came out in January of this year. We take the science of learning, we take the science of instruction, we mash those together to come up with the science of workplace instruction. And to get there, one of the key moments in the writing was to come up with the name of the model. And we had looked at other kind of names. If you go to Google, and those of you playing along at home, you could do this. If you type in science of learning, you might get like 7 million hits in like 0.8 seconds. Excuse me. If you type in science of training, you get like 500,000. When we did this a year ago, if you typed in science of workplace instruction, you got like 2 hits. And none of them actually said science of workplace instruction. So cool, we've invented a term. Now, it takes more than that. You actually have to invent the model behind it, but that getting that term was kind of key in this. So the idea is when you look at the science of learning, which is primarily housed in educational psychology, cognitive science, instructional psychology, places like that, they talk a lot about generally how people learn and what do we do from an instructional perspective, like, we space learning or we give people practice of certain types to help people learn, but they ignore the entire broader context. So, if you have a colleague doing learning research at your university, they're taking 19-year-olds, putting them in front of a computer, locking the door for 30 minutes and showing them word pairs. And there's a huge gap between that and training as we understand it. If you look at the science of training, like the training effectiveness model, things like that, everything's focused on the broader context. How does the organizational climate transfer of training, climate, things like that, these macro factors, how do they affect learning and the application of learning? And most of those models, learning is literally this little black box in the middle of it. And we don't, as IO psychologists, we don't care a lot. We care a little bit, but we don't care a lot about what that happens. So the idea of the model is to talk about how, is bring those two things together. So how does the environment, how, instructional psychologists don't talk about needs assessment. They don't talk about training evaluation. Those things matter. So it's just kind of mirroring the broader context with the individual processes that happen within the learner. So that's my relatively brief overview.
It's incredibly important. I totally agree with you that most IO psychologists sort of delegate the learning piece of it to people in other fields and say, well, that's, that part happens, and then we come in for the evaluation at the end. That's really exciting. So, I mean, thinking about the science of workplace instruction, it's really been turned upside down in the last year. Which parts of the model do you feel like are robust to all of the changes that we've experienced, and which parts now are you thinking about a little bit differently?
So let me just real quickly, and I know you were going to ask me this question, and I don't have a clear answer off the top of my head. So I'm going to do what I tell my students not to do, which is just to start talking and hope that the answer comes to you. I would tell them in a dissertation meeting, something like that. It doesn't hurt to pause, collect your thoughts, and do that. So, but in this case, it didn't help. So I think the model is robust enough that in terms of what we see, I don't think anything has changed in the model, but if anything, it's kind of what we've seen with, the prevalence of learning from home, remote learning, things like that. I think it just increases the importance of understanding context and how it affects learning during training. One of the debates, and you guys have seen this in the literature, one of the debates we have for 20 or 30 years is, like, for example, aptitude by treatment interactions. Do we need to modify training based on the aptitudes or individual differences or learning styles of learners? Do we need to do something different online versus face-to-face? And the answer to all of those is always no, that good instructional design trumps everything. So if you are a good trainer, you're a good designer, then you can deliver good training, effective training, whether it's remote, face-to-face, or whatever. So I think a lot of organizations realized that they didn't have good instructional design processes in place because they just rolled it. It was just like those of us who teach in universities that, last year we had like a week to modify all of our courses. And if all we did was put our PowerPoints up, students didn't like that, and we didn't like it much either. So it calls out the importance of knowing what people need, teach a skill, what's the best way to reinforce knowledge, those kind of fundamental questions. It's really a basic model, but it's a basic model that's packaged in a way that people really haven't talked about before.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. This is almost a cliche at this point to say, but the pandemic didn't create new problems so much as make us aware of problems that already existed. And like you said, bad instruction is bad instruction. One of the problems that it has made us all aware of is kind of who has access to learning and who has access to training. And I know that's something that you've been thinking about too, just how to get people into those experiences and starting that learning journey, to be a little corny. So can you actually talk a little bit about your efforts in that area? So you've got this company, Jobsology, that has been doing some really creative and interesting things, including participating in a White House initiative that is super cool. But can you sort of start from the beginning and tell the listeners about what you've been doing?
Sure. So I'll give you like the 25-second elevator speech on Jobsology, but where we are now is kind of different than where we started. We're hoping to eventually cycle back to that. This is an idea that I had about 13, 14 years ago. We eventually started talking about it as the eHarmony for jobs. And that's kind of the easiest way to study the original concept. What if we take a set of assessments and we can evaluate everyone on fit to job? Will this job bring you meaning and purpose? And then using those same attributes of people, we help corporations go into that database and find people who would be happy doing the work. So if you think about what we do in IO psychology, we are doing pre-hiring selection almost fully on the basis of abilities or their handshake during an interview or something like that. But we've really never measured fit in terms of things that are measurable from the applicant side. So that was the idea, to kind of create this platform solution where people go into it to learn, I would be happy being a landscape architect, or I would be happy being a psychology professor. and then having corporations say, oh, these would be the people who would be the happiest, not the highest performers, but the happiest doing the work that I did, that everyone would win. Where we are right now is we're primarily a software development company that provides career development platforms to universities. So we're solving problems like, helping students pick majors, student retention within universities. You guys see this. You have the kid who shows up in your class that says, I'm here because my mom wants me to be a doctor and they want to be a musician or something like that. So the quicker that universities can help people solve, what my major should be, what my career path or provide, because you can go into our database as an employer and find jobs from that. So it's really kind of a student direction retention problem that the space we're working in right now. So it's the first part of that eHarmony thing.
I think that's really great. We, as IO psychologists, generally start from the point of a fully formed adult, right? And going backwards and helping them develop some of those skills, or finding the right opportunity so that they fit better it should be something that all IO psychologists care about and think about. I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to ask you about your recent work is it sounds like you've been doing more translation activities lately and trying to reach a broader audience. And so I think that's a terrific and incredibly difficult activity. And I'm wondering what your experience has been like doing that. Have you run into particular challenges? Why is this so important to you? Tell me about translation.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back and talk just for a minute, like why I'm going to answer the question, why am I focused on this? And then I'll kind of talk about kind of what I'm doing right now. But so when I started, I came out of school 83, and I really struggled for like 5-6 years trying to find a topic that I found interesting. Kind of goes back to what we just talked about. If you don't find your research topic interesting, it's really hard to persevere, push, and things like that. And I was like, I published, I had like a JAP and a psych bowl, but hadn't found something that I said, I want to spend the next 20 years doing this. I got an opportunity to go down and work with Ed Salas at the Naval Research Training Center, where they were beginning to develop interventions to measure training of effectiveness for team training. So for example, how do you measure a shared mental model? Just as a random example.
Completely unrelated to anything we've been doing lately.
So Ed had said, we need an evaluation expert. Can you do that? And I said, sure. But at the time, I knew nothing about training evaluation. I'd never even read an article on training evaluation. But I knew performance appraisal. And I thought, well, it's just the same thing. And as I'm reading all this app by Kirkpatrick going, there has to be something better than this, and there's not. So I went to Ed and I said, I think we could develop a taxonomy, how people learn, why that's important. So we started working on that around 1990. At the same time, I was training I was the director of an applied master's training program where we're training consultants I had never consulted in my life. So like, how can I authentically stand there and tell this is how you talk to a client or whatever? So I took a sabbatical and I worked for a training consulting firm doing sales and project development, things like that. And so I think those two things at the same time were really critical because I was thinking really big picture, like what's a model of learning that we can communicate, but then what do people in the field need? And then how do I kind of talk to those people? So I think that was really formative for my career. And I think since then, I always try to jump back and forth between either stand with one foot in each or kind of move back and forth. It doesn't do us any good if, and you guys know this and other people have talked about this, it doesn't do us any good if we can publish a paper in JAP and it does us some good, but it's not going to help business if they're not reading that article. So I learned that a really long time, and I tried to find ways all my career. I would say I haven't been successful because every organization I walk into, they're still using Kirkpatrick and they still think it's amazing, or they're using MBTI and they think it's amazing. So, but that's kind of what my quest is. So what I'm trying to do now is, the other thing I'll mention about this article, and I should not, for you young listeners out there, start to begin your career, close your ears right now. Kevin and I had written a prospectus for the annual review paper, and we worked on it for a little bit. Kevin kept saying, I don't want to write a review article, like this is what everyone's done. Let's do something that's innovative, creative, that's fun to do. And I kept resisting that. And in early February of 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, I have a good idea. Let's create the science of workplace instruction and talk to that. and we said go, and Kevin said go. He did some writing. I did about 80% of the writing, but we turned it in the end of May. So in 4 months, we wrote that. And the reason we were able to do that is I'm just like, these are things that all my career I wanted to say, and I just kind of keep putting it in there. So it feels like it resonates. I like it. It resonates. I feel really good about doing it. Finally, to get to your question, I couldn't cram everything that I wanted to in there, and it's just still at a level that a practitioner is not going to take in and read it. So the thing I'm starting on now, I've been working on it loosely for the last couple of months, is I want to write a book called The Science of Workplace Instruction that has enough of an academic feel to it. So it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, but for the training manager, the trainer, the head of HR, whatever, they can read it and go to their people and say, this guy sounds smart and says we should do these things. So that feels like that's the thing that I can do right now that's going to put everything in one place. I can talk about evaluation, needs assessment, instructional design, and things like that, but I can get it all in kind of one 250-page book.
That sounds incredible. I will tell you that Kirkpatrick was almost a Pictionary clue, but I decided against it at the last minute. I thought that would be too mean. But I, for one, would be delighted if suddenly people started talking about.
I would have drawn him. I would have drawn. Yeah. Or I would have drawn four levels, like a word balloon, 4 levels, and I would have put a big X through it.
Big frowny face. But imagine a world where people use the Kraiger model instead of the Kirkpatrick model. I think that would be very exciting.
Tara, I dream about that every night.
Amazing. Terrific. Well, let me switch gears away from training and talk a little about mentoring, which I think people could argue is a form of training. I would certainly argue that. Sure. Tell me about your personal approach to mentoring, because I know that I've personally benefited from your mentoring activities and many others have as well. What is your philosophy of mentoring, and how did that get shaped? I mean, how did you start thinking about this?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do the shaping part. So as I mentioned, I started in an applied master's program, all but 2 students. I had like 120 students while I was there. All but 2 went and did an internship, did not want to do research. So when I moved to the University of Tulsa, I was like 20 years into my career. I had never had a doctoral student. And I think that really helped me because, like all of us, when we start, nobody took a class in grad school how to mentor. And there's not a lot of really good books out on how to do that. Well, there's Lisa's book. You could drop the link in the show notes. But there's just not a lot like easily accessible books. So what we all wind up doing is we say at some level, I'm going to mentor like my advisor did, just like we say I'm going to raise my kids like my parents did, and so forth. So whether that's good or not, so because for me there was a time gap and I'd never done this before and I wanted to do it well, I think I really went into having my first advisees thinking about how do I want to do it. So it's always been a very conscious, deliberate act. I don't think I've always done it well. I'm not being self-effacing. I mean, there's one time where I was department chair, I had 10 advisees. You cannot do well in that type of scenario. But I think I keep learning and trying to get better. So one of the transformational events was Lisa had given me a book about 3 or 4 years ago. I'll give you a couple of things that I do that I think are a little bit unique. But one thing that really made a big difference for me is she gave me a book that was supposed to help me as a person on habit change by Gretchen Rubin. I'm not sure. She wrote The Happiness Project. Better Than Before is her habit change book. And so she has all these practical strategies for changing habits. And the point that she makes is what works for one person doesn't work for another. Like, duh. But without going through her full model, it's a 4 tendencies model. Most people she would call either obligers or questioners. An obliger is someone who's externally accountable. A question, someone just, the obliger says, I will get this done if you tell me I have to get it done. So, in your AE roles, the person who will not do a review until the 3rd reminder is oftentimes the obliger. And I started pretty non-directive as an advisor. My first advisor was very non-directive. And so I would think, like, if they don't want to work on their thesis or their draft or something like that, I'm not going to make them do it. In the end, they have to do the work. But once I read that and saw that some people, not all people, some people need to have a deadline. So to say to them, I have a busy week next week. If you can get this paper to me on Friday, I'll read it on Saturday. I'll read it over the next couple of days, get back to you. But if you don't get it back to me, actually, that message worked really well. With the obliger, you just say, your deadline is this. And they'll do it because you're the advisor. The questioner, if you say to the questioner, I will be busy or I'll be out of town next week. If you don't get it to me by Friday, it's going to be like 3 weeks before I get it back to you. You've told them why they have to do something, and then they internally commit to it. So really just kind of understanding, do people have to set their own deadlines? How do you support that? If you want to graduate in May, you have to have your dissertation done on April 1st. In order to do that, I have to give you the final draft at March 15th. In order to do that, you have to defend February 15th. You start walking back with that. And then when I do that, I draw that on paper. I go, look, you need to have your dissertation idea tomorrow. And they get it because if they're a questioner, because those are kind of the steps that they have to get through. So that's been a really big transformation, to trying to help people understand what do people need to be successful, instead of telling them this is what I did to be successful ever.
Well, it sounds like one of the things you want them to learn is how to be their own person and not just model their behavior after you. Is there anything else you hope they learn from you?
Well, certainly to be authentic. I'm real comfortable, realizing that I make a lot of mistakes and I do stupid things. And I used to always, I don't think this is a good mentoring strategy, but it works for me. When I have like multiple graduate students, I would always tell them, and I have to remind them 2 or 3 times before they understand this. When you come into me, like we have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday, when you come in with me, don't start by telling me what you just accomplished. You have to begin by reminding me what your study is, where you are, and what I have to do. Because people come, I just found this, I had this great idea for a manipulation tag, or I'm going to start doing an SEM and blah, blah, blah. And I go, I have no idea what you're doing, because I'm doing a million different things. And so you can help me by kind of, telling me where you are. But once you do that, then I want to be locked in. One of the things that when I was department chair really broke my heart is I would have a student come in and say, we have a meeting scheduled, and they would say, I know you're really busy, but. And every time someone said that, it just broke my heart, because I want them to know that 30 minutes or hour I'm spending with, that's the most important thing. And oftentimes it was not only the most important, but the most enjoyable thing. And so, I want them to know that I'm really invested in them, that I really believe in them. I support them. I'm interested in their well-being, but that they're really effective. I constantly tell my students, other students, you're in graduate school. That puts you in the top 3%, 4% of the population in intelligence. You're really bright and capable, and you just need to, we have to polish you, right? We have to kind of allow you to, speak with confidence and communicate effectively. But I'm just taking advantage of the raw talents that you have within you.
That's a terrific message. I love the idea of teaching them upward influence, because that will just continue to be important throughout their whole career, and advocating for themselves, but also kind of asking for what they need. That's terrific. This has been terrific. I feel like I've learned a lot about science of workplace instruction and mentoring. Any last words? Anything else you want to say?
I'll say this. I think the other really key that I've learned is that, and this goes up in the research that, like, Lisa and I have done a study on effective mentor behaviors. You can find it in Journal of Business Psych, 2019, I think. But every mentoring, and everyone knows this, but mentoring begins with establishing trust. And so one of the things I do when I get a new student is we go out to lunch and I say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if they say, most of the students I've had want to go applied. If they say, I want to go applied for these reasons, I'm good with that. If they say, I like this about applied, I like this about teaching, but I'm not sure, I'm good with that. If they say, I haven't made up my mind, and most of my students have said, I haven't made up my mind, what I've learned is I've realized I have made up my mind, but I'm afraid to tell you what it is. And that's not their problem, it's my problem. And so what I need to begin doing is really focusing. I tell them, when you can tell me what you want, I can help you better. But I don't ask them right away. I really focus on the next 4 weeks, 10 weeks, semester, whatever, to build trust, so they know that they can tell me things that it'll be okay for them, that I'm a better help for them. but that I don't know what I want to be is code for I know, but I'm not going to tell you. So,
Oh gosh, I guess that means I have to decide what I want to be when I grow up. That's a lot of stress. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kurt. This was a lot of fun, and you've been a very good sport. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been a blast. I appreciate you guys asking me.
Turn it back to you, Richard.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's it then for gig number 7. As always, please join our Discord so that you can chat with us before, during, and after the show. Definitely hit subscribe. Make sure you get the notifications so you know that when we're going live, so you never miss a show. Coming up will be Scott Highhouse on the docket, probably in a couple weeks. So you can look forward to that. Thank you for joining us this week, and we will see you next time on another great IO get together. Bye.
All right.
Oh, the times were hard and the wages low. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. I guess it's time for us to go. And it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.
I can't believe it's already over. Can you? To keep the excitement going, check out our website at thegig.online. Join our Discord community to chat with your hosts and your fellow giggers. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you never miss a gig. Above all, thank you for joining us, and see you next time for another great I.O. get-together.